A very warm welcome to the 29th International Conference and Exhibition on Broadcast and Media Technology, BES Expo 2025. It is a profound privilege for the BES to host this prestigious event, continuing our long-standing commitment to advancing the media industry. That is the prime vision of the BES. This gathering reflects our dedication to serving every facet of the sector, from television, radio, and film to mobile, OTT, IPTV, and the dynamic world of content creation and delivery. It is truly a pleasure to witness such a distinguished gathering here in New Delhi today. On behalf of the BS, I extend my sincere gratitude to each one of you present here and joined us today. We are honored by your presence and look forward to an encouraging and enriching 3 days, an experience we trust will be both insightful and transformative. BES India is a non-profit society established 37 years back, functions with a social cause of promoting the advancement and dissemination of knowledge and best practices of broadcasting to enhance the knowledge of broadcasting professionals. This society encourages education, research and training in broadcasting through active cooperation with academic institutions, industry, and the government. This society works closely with leading broadcast organizations in the world and plays a leading role in inviting experts from different areas of broadcasting to facilitate adoption of new technologies in the broadcasting sector in India. This year, ladies and gentlemen, our theme, Transforming the Media Landscape through AI, Create, Collaborate, and Monetize. This perfectly encapsulates the dynamic shifts and exciting opportunities unfolding within the broadcasting industry. Prasar Bharati, through Doordarshan and Akashvani, is expanding its digital reach and enriching its content portfolio. The recent launch of its very own OTT platform, PB Waves, marks a significant milestone in this journey, further extending the public broadcaster's digital footprint and accessibility. The present visionary leadership continues to steer India's public broadcaster towards innovation, inclusivity, and global relevance. When we are in a position to leapfrog in terms of technology, we are also in a position to dictate in terms of spectrum allocation, but also the standardization roadmaps. As a country, we should be in a position to reflect the standardization roadmap and bring it in alignment with the case where we hold the IPRs. And that is how the world economies have always played the standardization game.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is a keynote address by Mr. Mark A. Aiken, who's the Senior Vice President for Advanced Technology, One Media, USA.
And for me, I'm going to speak a little bit about what the transformation has been from my perspective of being in India for 27 years. I spoke not from this exact position, but 27 years ago to some of you who are probably in this audience. That introduction simply serves to prove, and along with my picture, that I'm probably the oldest guy in the crew. Um, so thank you for the opportunity to once again address all of you. So when I came first to India as a guest of the Broadcast Engineering Society, uh, it was a time of India's transformation in the media landscape, and it was shifting beneath our feet. It was 1998, a period of great change. Bharati was newly autonomous. It's a bit of a history lesson for everybody. Satellite broadcasting was transforming access. Cable TV was expanding. And there were spirited debates about Western influence, cultural preservation, and the future of public service medium. And through it all, India has adapted. But more than that, India has led. Now in 2025, we find ourselves once again at a turning point where the convergence of technology, policy, and people is reshaping what media means and, most importantly, who it reaches. Once it was about towers, now it's about touchscreens. Once it was about satellite dishes, now it's about phones in every hand. And direct to mobile broadcasting, D2M, stands at the center of this transformation. The point is that the moment is ripe for India and a broadcasting revolution. Recent crises and conflicts have shown the importance of resilience in broadcasting. India, as the world's largest democracy, needs the ability to reach every one of its citizens directly on their mobile phones. DTAM is not only about consuming content on mobile devices over broadcast frequency, it's not merely about a free dish like service for mobile, it goes well beyond that. Let's start with something fundamental: digital equity. India has more than 300 million feature phone users, individuals who remain largely disconnected from the IP world that we participate in. D2M offers a way to change that. An IP's connected content path to those without broadband, without smartphones. And it's not just about innovation, it's about inclusion. It's about giving every citizen, regardless of geography or income, access to education, public information, and opportunities. With D2M, Digital India becomes possible for all of India. DTM is not just a better way to deliver video, it's a fundamentally different model, one that cuts costs for creators and consumers and creates a space for new programmers, regional voices, education initiatives, and public service media. Imagine a future where a young educator in Assam can distribute free video lessons nationwide with no CDM bill, no App Store gatekeeper, no platform bottlenecks. D2M democratizes distribution, and that means democratization opportunities. Now, this vision isn't just hypothetical. It's real, it's here, it's now. India has a complete homegrown D2M technology stack. Indian designed silicon chips, Indian assembled hardware, Indian developed software platforms, and Indian content. And at the center of this is a US India collaboration, one rooted in respect, shared innovation, and common purpose. Projects like that envisioned by Freestream, built on open standards and partnerships, show that we can build systems for the world, not just for a single market. This is Make in India, not just for India, but for the global South and well beyond.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, we have an address by our guest of honor, Mr. Gaurav Dwivedi, who's the IAS CEO, Prasar Bharati.
I've been coming here for the last couple of years and have been a part of some of the discussions. And it's been quite an interesting journey to understand the media landscape, the broadcasting landscape from the production and distribution perspective. Before this, of course, I, like most of us, spent most of my time as consumer of the output of the media houses. But working on the production side, one realizes how complicated and complex this entire process is, and also how technology is rapidly overtaking the entire process and fundamentally reshaping how we think of media. There are the standard things that we talk about the advent of the written word, the published word, the radio, television, digital, and all of these, as they evolved, led to a kind of a fear in the established media houses or the content creators that maybe with the advent of a new technology, the older technologies would die out. This is something which has been repeatedly proven wrong. The written word still exists, the published word still exists, radio still exists, television still exists. They have changed forms, they have changed the nature in which the content is created, how it is processed, how it is distributed. And I think now we have reached a stage where it is possible to not only globalize the content, but also hyper personalize and hyper localize it simultaneously. The theme of this year's BES Expo is artificial intelligence. And for the last year or so, we've seen that almost on a weekly or a fortnightly basis, there are new AI products being launched. And with the launch of each product, within the span of a week or 2 weeks, each one claims that all the other products that had been released the previous week or the previous fortnight are completely outdated and are of no use at all. Now, this obviously creates an issue for all of us as part of the broadcast industry as to how we should be able to assess which are the good tools, which are the proper tools, and what is the way by which we can actually start deploying these tools. And the deployment is not only a technical challenge, but also it is a human challenge. If you recall a couple of years back, there was a very, very long lasting strike in Hollywood. The entire movie production industry in Hollywood ground to a halt for several months. And among the various things that were being demanded was a ban on AI generated scripts because the writers, the script writers, the story writers felt that they would be put out of business if everybody in the production side, in the movie production side, were to adopt AI. Be that as it may, however the strike turned out, the business has resumed. We are seeing new content coming in regularly from all the major production centers in the world. India, of course, is one of the leading centers. And over a period of time, it is not only the what we call Bollywood, but also the Indian cinema as a whole has upped its game in terms of the volume of content being produced and also the quality of the content being produced. But coming back to this year's theme, I think we need to spend a fair amount of time, and this is the BS Expo is the occasion to do so, where we can look at things right from conceptualization of a new content to the production, to the post production, to special effects, VFX, and what have you, the different forms of content, whether we want live action, whether we want animation, whether we want a mixed kind of a output like we saw in Aladdin, for instance. This is also the time to ruminate a little bit in terms of how this great tool of AI and computers and computerization can also potentially be misused. And we are seeing a lot of that happening these days as well. The simplest example is that of deepfakes, but also along with that, we are finding that there are a lot of mischievous items being put out, and even the authoritative and credible data that is being put out is being tweaked and twisted and being sent to the audiences in such a way that the entire meaning changes. This creates a huge threat to humanity as a whole, to the political systems, to the administrative systems, and the use of AI, which we think is very good in terms of being able to produce quickly with a very, very short turnaround time, also has an equal potential for misuse, and we need to figure out how to check this kind of a misuse of technology. There is also a related issue of the personalization and contextualization. We find that there is actually such a huge volume of content that is being put out through various platforms that the audiences are actually not able to find the exact kind of content that they want to consume. There is actually so much variety that sometimes, maybe it has happened to you also, happens frequently to me, that I sit down and start clicking the remote button to see something. And after half an hour or so, I put the remote down because there's actually so much content that I cannot make up my mind what is it exactly that I want to see. There's a particular kind of content I want to see, but then also along with that, is it correct? Is it credible? Is it right? Is it believable? These are things that we do not know. It happens on OTT, it also happens much more on social media platforms, where we find that the use of algorithms and AI has actually started creating echo chambers by which diverse opinions are actually not coming to us. I see one particular kind of content twice, and it's only the same kind of content which keeps coming back to me. If there is an alternative perspective, it does not come to me. So this kind of an echo chamber that technology creates also is a pretty dangerous thing, simply because, say, let's think of say Rabindranath Tagore when he says that, let the winds from all sides blow into my house. We are not getting that. We are getting an echo chamber, the same thoughts echoing repeatedly again and again. Also, the last point that I would want to mention is the issue of global platforms and the way they operate versus the issue of sovereignty. Now, global platforms operate with a different logic. They operate with a different commercial logic. They operate with a different business logic. But then at the same time, it is also important for the public broadcasters, and this is who I represent here, to be able to have some nature or some element of content sovereignty. There is a specific responsibility that has been given to us by a mandate of the parliament. Our job is to inform, educate, and entertain the audiences. If you look at the mottos of the two constituent organizations of Prasar Bharati, the two original constituents, Akashvani and Doordarshan, Bahujan Hitaye, Bahujan Sukhaye, for the good of all, for the happiness of all, and Satyam Shivam Sundaram, the one beautiful eternal truth. So therefore, to carry on in the spirit of these mottos that we have been born with, we need to figure out how best to deal with these challenges of today's technology. It has its benefits, it also has its dangers, and I'm sure in the next couple of days, in the various discussions in this forum, we'll at least have an inkling of some of the answers, if not the final answers.
My particular reference I will draw from my past experience of working in 3GPP in convergence technologies, whether with 3G wireless LAN or in Open Mobile Alliance, or for the information-centric networking that is very important for the content business, and the 5G development that we talked about. In the media ecosystem, we have very, very rapidly transformed from the days when viewers had no choice but to just tune into a scheduled programming onto a specific channel for a particular location, to the cable business, which bundled together many of the channels, which became pricier and led to the on-demand streaming solutions that we are today talking about. With OTT, which has now disrupted the traditional broadcasting by bypassing the cable networks, to connected TV such as Apple TV and so on, the entire landscape is rapidly changed. It will not be out of place to say that a large part of this change has also been broadband. And I personally believe broadcast and broadband are feeding into each other. If today there is a great growth in the 5G network or in the broadband network, it is because of the consumption that is happening of this media that we are creating, and vice versa is also true. Further, adding to that, social platforms have become a dominant force these days in media and entertainment. While studios and streaming providers are busy competing with each other, there is a tougher competition coming from social media video platforms that are hyperscale and hyper-capitalized. The streaming on-demand video revolution has fragmented the pay TV audiences, imposed higher cost on the studios. If you look at the trend, and there are many reports that come out every year, this year, if you look at 2025 report by Digital Media Trends, what they say the typical or an average per human consumption of the media is roughly around 6 hours a day. And this is unlikely to change greatly. It is possible that this 6 hours of content may come from smart TV, that may come from your streaming app, that may come from your social media, short videos, so on. But this 6 hours is unlikely to change. So over a period of time, everybody now is competing for this 6 hours. What content they can push and how they can monetize. Smart TV still will dominate and continue to dominate for watching TV shows and movies, but mobile devices are getting more and more preferred for social scrolling and watching short to long videos. So what are the 10 key trends that are leading to the theme that we are talking today? First and the most important theme is streaming and connected TV will continue to dominate. At the same time, there are changing consumer behaviors and expectations because consumers today expect high quality content delivered instantly across multiple devices that they carry, with a preference for on demand and advertisement free experiences. Audiences are driving the requirement. So, when we say customer is the king, actually, this is much more true in this business. When we talk about AI, while it is transforming the entire world, here the main change that is coming is because AI-powered personalization that is also helping in the content creation and automation, all the three aspects. So AI is transforming how content will be curated, how it will be produced, and how it will be personalized for viewers. Of course, my previous speaker talked about that there has to be a great balance between personalization and privacy concerns. AI will analyze the viewers' preferences and behaviors to deliver tailored recommendation. More importantly, AI is automating many of the workflows that are required for producing content. And in the broadcasting workflows, whether automating tasks like how the content creation will be done, editing will be done, or distribution will be done, therefore, a lot more AI will come into picture there. We have several more tools, and because of these tools getting available, there is one big transformation that has also happened that earlier, the number of people who used to create content was far lesser than the people who used to consume the content. Now you see almost everybody is creating newer and newer content because there is a democratization of the tools that has happened and there is a great creator economy that is getting generated. So that is a big transformation from what happened earlier.
It is the time for the chief guest address, and may I please invite Mr. Navneet Sehgal, who is the IAS retired chairman, Prasar Bharati.
And I'm very happy. I must congratulate the Broadcasting Engineering Society for including, it has been almost 29 years that this conference has been taking place. And the first time they have included content, AI, and audio video graphics. It gels with the times, it gels with the growth of the digital infrastructure in India, which has grown manifold in last 10 years, particularly. The onset of new technologies in communication broadcasting has brought convergence, the digitization, the democratization of content, and the role of broadcasting is undergoing a profound transition. Traditional boundaries are being redefined between content creators and consumers, and linear and on-demand platforms between terrestrial and digital territory. I keep telling my own people, that the technology is changing so fast that we may not have television in next 5 seconds, 10 years. People are so glued to their smartphones that they will like to see everything on the smartphone. So one has to grow with it, and one has to, change the style of broadcasting, the content, and to suit to the demand of the current generation. And we at Prasar Bharati, as a independent public service broadcaster, we are proud to be both custodian of tradition and driver of innovation. With Doordarshan and All India Radio, we have a unique responsibility to not only inform, educate, and entertain more than a billion citizens in multiple languages across diverse geography and across diverse platforms. But today, our mission extends beyond the conventional. We are embracing digital first strategies, enhancing multi platform presence, and ensuring inclusive access to information and entertainment for every Indian, even from remote villages to the farthest corner of the country. You see, in the current context of digital revolution in India, we firmly believe that technology is a great equalizer. Not only it is giving the digital advantage to every citizen because now it is available, but it is also changing the media consumption habits of the citizens. The OTT wave has just swept the across the globe, fundamentally reshaping how audiences discover, consume, and engage with content. From binge watching on demand series to personalized news feeds, the power has shifted to the viewer. We are committed to ensure that public service content remains relevant, discoverable, and accessible on all the platforms, easily accessible to that extent, not just for entertainment, but for education, information, and national integration, which is at the core of all of our broadcast. And it's both a challenge and an opportunity for us as nation's public service broadcaster. We are accepting this with open arms. Our content is no longer confined to terrestrial and satellite platforms. Through digital apps, YouTube, download, social media, OTT, we are reaching millions of young people, young Indians who prefer to watch on their mobiles and tablets in their convenience and in their language. We are also enhancing our multi-platform presence, investing in cloud-based workflows, and upgrading the legacy infrastructure to meet the demand of the digital area. With platforms like News on Air, DD's India's global outreach, and exponential growth of DD Free Dish, we are positioning ourselves not just as a national broadcaster, but a global viewer of India. And our objective is to project our cultural, historical, and economic strength to the globe, to everybody else in the world. And that is why we are using AI tools, experimenting with multi-language subtitling, building robust digital archives, and so that the treasure trove of Doordarshan and AI content can be rediscovered by future generations. In fact, we have put most of our archives on our OTT platform also, so it is easily discoverable. And one of the frontiers that we are expecting, it is one of the major discussion point in this conference also is D2M mobile. That sort of broadcasting we are working on. We have already initiated the pilot project, and it has the potential to revolutionize how video content is not only delivered but also seen in a as vast as a diverse country as ours. So it's a challenge. Technology remains a challenge, but yeah, I think today's discussion may bring out something out of it. With D2M, we also envision broadcast grade video and audio content delivered directly to mobile phones without depending on internet or phone connectivity, mobile data connectivity. This is vital, very vital for remote regions. Disaster management, very important for disaster management, e-learning, and ensuring public safety alerts they reach every citizen effectively. And in collaboration with Ministry of Information Broadcasting, the Department of Telecommunication, IITs, industry stakeholders, Prasar Bharati is actively working on B2M trials, spectrum planning, and standard development. Our goal is clear: to create a national infrastructure that combines the strength of broadcasting and mobile networks for the benefit of all citizens across the country.